Have you ever thought of the idea where rail operator vehicles can run on the road? This would be where a tram network would come in place. The more known locations for a tram network to be operational include London, Manchester and Edinburgh. Welcome to another Mysteries of the British Railway video. In this video I take you around the tram network around the area of Sheffield, where we get to expand on the areas surrounding from Sheffield to halfway. There's even a couple of tram stops located here in Rotherham. I will also dig deep as to why certain railway stations here in South Yorkshire don't have ticket barriers. There's also another mystery I'd like to solve, and it comes in the form of analysing why it's actually called halfway. There are many mysteries of the British Railway that are dying to be discovered. Join me, Darren Stratton, as I take you around the four corners of the UK to explore the many mysteries that are hidden between a station and its platforms. The opportunity train is arriving, so let's hop aboard and get exploring. There are four different tram routes that make up the Sheffield network. Three of these are coloured blue, purple and yellow. There's also going to be a train involved along this journey, as I plan to start on the yellow route and go to a place called Middlewood. Mayland Bridge ends the blue route from halfway, whereas Herdings Park ends the purple route from Sheffield Cathedral. The tram train service was introduced to the network in October 2018, and more details will follow as soon as I arrive into Parkgate. Rotherham Parkgate is part of the Sheffield to Rotherham tram train pilot scheme, which is the first in its kind here in the UK. The scheme involved extending the Sheffield Supertram network to Rotherham Central from Meadowhall, Tinsley, mostly via low-use freight lines. Before continuing to the terminus at Parkgate, the scheme ended up going over budget with a final cost of £75 million. It had been planned that Rotherham Parkgate would be the hub for longer distance inter-regional services, while Rotherham Central would be the hub for local services. Plans suggested that the construction of the station would cost around £14 million, including the £53 million that had the railway service to Leeds. However, there had been studies that confirmed that those plans would not go ahead due to the costs outweighing the benefits, and so the tram train route was curtailed at Rotherham Parkgate. This is where I end up sneaking in a quick section, seeing as the trams are fairly quick when going to the next station along the line. Rotherham Central is one of the main stations along the South Yorkshire line, located between Meadowhall and Swinton. Looks maybe deceiving though if you're standing between the platforms there, and more details will be given when I arrive at that station. These trams are capable of travelling up to 55 miles per hour, something which is not to be sneezed at. Rotherham Central is the fourth station to be built within the town centre on the line from Sheffield, Victoria. The first, a single platform terminus, was built on what became the coal yard by the South Yorkshire Railway. Today this approximates to the land of Brinsworth Street below the bridge which carries the Ely Relief Road over the railway. The SYR could not gain permission to pass below the already built line of the Sheffield and Rotherham Railway, opened in 1838. A few years later, and following the amalgamation into the Manchester, Sheffield and Lincolnshire Railway, a scheme was developed to fill the South Yorkshire navigation. A canal already owned by that railway company and divert its course onto the nearby River Don. As the navigation already passed below the Sheffield and Rotherham line, this would solve the problem, although until recent years the line was prone to flooding. Now, if you're standing on the bridge between the platforms, you would think that Rotherham Central had two super long platforms, but the truth is that this station actually has four platforms. Platforms 3 and 4 were attached to the ends of platforms 1 and 2, and it's those two platforms where you'd find the trams. The station itself opened in August 1868, and the tram platforms were opened 150 years later in October 2018. This is where I decided to be more direct and board a train instead of the tram. Although I will mention that you can actually get the trams from Rotherham Central. However, if you did take the tram, you would have to change at a station called Tinsley, which lies to the south of Meadowhall interchange. And there is also a waiting period direct signal, as this allows the trams to and from Meadowhall to swiftly pass. A signal from Rotherham Central to Meadowhall on the train would cost you £4, but I managed to get this ticket for just £2.65 as I have a relevant rail card. Meadowhall Interchange is a transport interchange located in the northeast of Sheffield, consisting of combined heavy railway station, tram stop and bus and coach station. The second busiest heavy rail station in the city in terms of passenger numbers. Meadowhall Interchange provides connections between national rail services, the Sheffield Supertram light rail network, intercity coach services and the city bus network. The interchange was opened in 1990 by the British Rail under the regional railway sector to serve the Meadowhall shopping centre, which opened at the same time and is connected to the interchange by a pedestrian footbridge. The interchange is now owned by Network Rail and operated by Northern, with additional services provided by Transpennine Express. Now, interestingly enough, as I make my way onto the tram platforms, I can tell you that this was once one of the biggest interchange stations I've ever come across, as this not only houses the 4 platforms for any national rail trains, but you also have 2 platforms for the trams, which opened in 1994. And you also have buses and coaches that serve here too. The buses from this interchange take you to Chesterfield, Barnsley and Doncaster. And you can also get coaches going to London and places in Scotland. There used to be a direct megabus service that ran from here to Portsmouth, but that's recently been scrapped. This is also in the same way that the purple route going to Herdings Park used to start here as well, but they've now been curtailed to terminate at the cathedral. I guess it's because it will eliminate the need for a change in direction for the tram. Now, upon arrival at the Southern Tinsley tram stop, which is where you would find the tram train service from Rotherham, you would also need to take into account that this service would have the priority because there are more services that come down this way than there are from Rotherham. It's also interesting that as I make my journey into Middlewood, the number of railway stations in South Yorkshire, there are a number of them that don't have any barriers. Rotherham Central is one of them, but then if you did install ticket barriers there, it would stop people getting on and off the tram. Meadowhall can't have ticket barriers either, because not only would it stop people getting on and off trams, buses aren't an issue here because then they go over the bridge, but it will also stop them from traversing between the 4 platforms, which are at a 45-degree angle, as well as preventing people from entering the shopping centre. Sheffield's main station can't have ticket barriers because it's located by student halls, and putting them there would prevent students from returning home. You also need to take into account that places such as Barnsley wouldn't have them either, because installing them there would prevent access to the buses. Middlewood is the last tram stop on the South Yorkshire Supertram network coming in from Meadowhall, the yellow route. It serves the surrounding areas of Middlewood and Wadsley, around 2.5 miles away from the edge of Sheffield. It is the last station on the branch, which opened on the 23rd of October 1995. It's located adjacent to the A6102 road. This stop was opened along with the section between Shellsmoor and Middlewood in October 1995. A spur to Mayland Bridge from Hillsborough was also opened at the same time. These were the final street running tram lines to be opened on the Supertram network, and the network wouldn't be expanded again until 2018. As of 2024, services run between Middlewood and Meadowhall interchange every 12 minutes at peak time. Middlewood is considered to have one long platform which is long enough to hold 2 trams, but they're both separated from each other, effectively making 2 platforms on the same side of the road. And tracks. The stop is located adjacent and facing the main road as at Mayland Bridge. I'm now making my way back to the cathedral on the same route and tram that I was on when making my way to Middlewood. But this time I'm going to stop off at the cathedral so that I can get the purple route down to Herdings Park. This also allows me to come off at Gleadless Townsend as I then get the blue route to Halfway. When I'm on that tram, I'll hopefully be able to dig deep into the mystery that's been on the minds of many people. Why is it called Halfway? There are some interesting theories that are floating about on the interwebs, and even I have a theory behind this mystery, but the actual thing that comes about as to why it's called Halfway will actually surprise you. Sheffield Cathedral has its own stop on the South Yorkshire Supertram network just called Cathedral. Located in front of the cathedral where I am at the moment, at the edge of the churchyard. It is one of the 3 city centre tram stops served by all 4 tram lines, and as such can be accessed from any other stop on the network. The tram stop was opened on the 17th of February 1995. Tram train services between Cathedral and Rotherham Parkgate commenced in October 2018. Beyond the tram platforms is Church Street, which has since been the construction of the tram network and now runs westbound only from High Street to West Street. There are 2 bus stops on Church Street, serving local bus services as of May 2020. There is no on-street parking on the streets directly, but surrounding the cathedral, the nearest car park is located on Campo Lane, a short walk away, operated by National Car Parks. So I'm now on the purple tram going to Herdings Park. Now, this tram goes from Cathedral along the same line as the blue route to Halfway, but then branches off at Gleadless Townsend towards the very tail end of the route. This is an interesting route to travel along, as well as the blue route towards Halfway. More detail will follow on that when I'm on that route. There isn't much point in me doing a travelling segment between Herdings Park and Gleadless Townsend, and as the tram stops are too close together to get any good information out of it. But I can tell you that the purple route was curtailed to terminate at the cathedral at around 2010, as this one used to go to Meadowhall interchange prior to that time. Herdings Park opened on the 3rd of April 1995. It's located north of Herdings Park. It's adjacent to Rayburn Road and is the current terminus of the Herdings Park branch and the purple route. This stop was opened along with the track section between Gleadless Townend and Herding Park in April 1995, a week after the Halfway extension opened. Herdings Park tram stop is situated at the western end of a 500 metre long reserved tram only section from the next stop at Herdings Leighton Road. It has only a single low level platform. At the centre of the platform, a passenger information display stands and shows estimated arrival times for trams, but unfortunately in this case it's not working, so at this point we have to follow in estimates. Gleadless Townend opened on the 5th of December 1994. It is located on Ridgeway Road in Gleadless, north of the White Lane Road junction. This stop used to be the terminus of the line before it was extended further to Halfway and Herdings Park in 1995. This stop was opened along with the track section between Spring Lane and Gleadless Townend in December 1994. This stop was also the southern terminus of the line. For the next 4 months, trams terminated and used the future city-bound platform as a turnback platform. The line was extended to halfway in March 1995, and a short spur to Herdings Park from this stop was also opened in April 1995. There's been many a mystery behind the place of Halfway, many people questioning as to why it was even called that. Some people have theorised that the place serves as a halfway point between Sheffield and Chesterfield, which was quickly quashed as others thought it was the centre point between Sheffield and Tram. Others, including myself, have theorised that it served as the exact middle point of England, which I now realise may not be the case, as the shape of the UK is much wider at the bottom than it is at the top. It has, however, been confirmed that Halfway was actually named after an inn called Halfway House, which was recorded in the 18th century. It's good to know this, as it would definitely put my mind at rest, and I can consider this another mystery solved. Here I am, just thought it's a quick, unscheduled stop off at Crystal Peaks. I've just needed to nip into the shop and grab myself something quick to eat, because all I've had so far is a donut, and now I need something more substantial just so I can then continue on with this journey. So what I'm going to do after I've done that is I'm going to hop on another Blue Route tram and go to Halfway. That's where I'll give my next bit of information. And then after I've done that, I'll hop on another Blue Route to go to Maiden Bridge. And then I'll hop on another one to go back to the cathedral. And then which at that point, I've covered the whole route there as well. There's a 120 there, which I've looked at as well. In which case, oh goodness, I don't know how to talk. In which case, you get to see that, and then I'll hop on another tram train line, which is kind of black on the map, and I'll be able just to wrap things up. So bear with me a moment, just as I get myself fed and watered, and I'll see you in Halfway. And I'm back, and after a spell of being well fed and watered, and after I say well fed and watered, it was more like after a couple of cans of iced coffee, I am back up and my energy is refueled, and I am just making my way down to Halfway. Just like quickly pop on just in a moment, just to give you this update as I'm making my journey doing this. It's been interesting, this journey so far, and I'm just really enjoying myself. I love doing this sort of stuff. But before I get too sentimental over my videos, I will see you in... Sorry about that. Just before I get too sentimental over my videos, I will see you in Halfway for the next bit of information. The Halfway lies in the extreme southeast of Sheffield at the end of the Sheffield Super Tram line. Halfway was part of the historic county of Derbyshire, but has been administered by Sheffield since the boundary changes in 1967. It also used to be home to a bus garage, which was operated by Booth and Fisher, a company who were merged into South Yorkshire's Passenger Transport Executive in the mid-1970s. The garage itself passed into the hands of the operator SYT. Denser first, and then has always been seen as a minor outpost garage. It served works and school services and buses starting early from the south side of the city. The garage was closed in 2007 as a cost-cutting measure. Recently, though, it was uncertain as to when. but it was taken over by the Chesterfield-based company TM Travel. So this is where I take the whole of the route that the Blue Route has to offer as I traverse from halfway to Mayland Bridge. This has been an interesting day so far, as I've been able to go around all the area of Sheffield, and I've been able to explore the mysteries behind the trams, why certain stations can't have ticket barriers installed, and I'm now making my way up towards Mayland Bridge. This is where I wrap up the mysteries behind this video and go into details about the next tram stop that's on my to visit list. Interestingly enough, I've been able to use my disabled person's bus pass to do this whole episode, but there is still one more tram that I need to fully use, which I will use when I get back to Sheffield Cathedral. This has been exciting, and I'm so thrilled to be able to take you along this journey with me. The Mayland Bridge was chosen as one of the termini of the South Yorkshire Supertram. It is the western limit of the Blue Line service, which runs eastwards to the city centre and then on to halfway. The terminus was first used on the 23rd of October 1995, and it's a single platform stop which is separated from the traffic on the A6101. In February 2006, work started on a park and ride scheme adjacent to the terminus of the opposite side of Holme Lane. The unmanned scheme, which cost £500,000, opened in November 2006, providing 104 parking spaces, as well as CCTV cameras and bicycle shelters. The park and ride has not been well used, and the price cuts have been introduced to encourage people to use the scheme. Now, interestingly enough, in another turn of events, I've got another little surprise for you planned for this video. Now, when I was just making my way down to Mayland Bridge and Middlewood respectively, there is another tram stop called Netherthorpe Road, which in this case is the only tram stop to have its platforms merged into an island. So I thought at this point, as I'm making my way back up to the cathedral, that I would stop there, and which at that point I would then give you a quick tour of Netherthorpe, and then at that point I can then jump on either another blue or a yellow back up to the cathedral, and then wrap stuff up as I go on a black back to Rotherham. Now things start to spice up at this point, because I'm now completely improvised. Normally when I do this sort of video, I'm armed by a script, and it gives me sort of ideas to what research I've planned into to make videos like this. But this time I'm completely unplanned, as this is a surprise thing to do. So I will be making my way, as I say, to Netherthorpe, and I'll see you there very shortly. And I'm back, and welcome to Netherthorpe. This is the one that I was on about, the odd station out of the two platforms, because this is the only two platform station I know of to be grouped into an island, and for reasons unknown as to why it is. But if you come with me, I will show you as to why this is these two platforms are grouped together in an island. So I've just made my way down. If you turn left, which is what I'm going to do here, you end up in one side of the station where you've got the buildings just along here, which is also, this is interesting. And then if you cross over to the other side, you will find that there are other buildings that way as well. So if I'll take you around this side, and you'll find that there's some other buildings there too. So it's interesting, this area of Sheffield, I have to say, and it's just amazing what you can find. Now, this side is made up of flats and houses, whereas the other side is commercial buildings. Now, if you follow me back to the railway station, because, well, I say railway station, it's more of a tram stop, but you know what I mean. But if you follow me back to the tram stop, which is going up this way, you'll see where it follows on from there. So I'm just going to wait for the next tram, so I'm going to get the tram to, I'm going to get the yellow back to the cathedral, where some more unscripted stuff is in the works. Do you want me back in a bit? After this. And I'm back. And I certainly have the feeling that throughout the course of this video, couldn't help but notice that I did this in a complete inverse. So when I started this video, I did along the tram routes. I did black route, yellow route. The black route is the tram train service that runs from Rotherham to the cathedral, which is aptly coloured black on the map. So I've done that. And now, just as I'm making my way back to wrap the video, I'm now on, so I did black route, yellow route, and on the way back I'm now doing yellow route, black route. It's interesting how it all comes about, but the black route's needed because I'm going back to Rotherham. And it's interesting how this video's come about. And I'm making my way up to Cathedral, making my way back to the Cathedral, where I'll pick up the black route back to Rotherham, and then that way we can then wrap this monster of a video up in style. And it's been unplanned as well. Some of it's been unscripted, the other parts, well, follow on the research that I conducted, so it's been a bit of a mix, as I discovered. But join me back in a bit as I then change at the cathedral, and then I will be on another black route tram back to Rotherham. So now I'm on the last tram that needed exploring on, which is the black coloured tram train service which goes back to Rotherham Parkgate. This whole day has been interesting as I've been all around the Sheffield area and the surrounding areas too. It's also interesting that Halfway used to be a part of Derbyshire until it changed hands in 1967. This tram follows the yellow route up to Tinsley Meadowhall South, and then it branches off into Rotherham towards the tail end of that route. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.